Which is like that's a good problem to have. I think we're all going to be right. Actually, no, I got to find this one. On him, his wife is like, I don't. Not necessarily with the end.
Oh, okay. It's an anniversary party. Yes. Yes. Good to see you. Oh, hi, Jennifer. Oh my God. Married life must. Well, that's exciting. Oh, well, don't talk to that. I'm the website. You're all going to get high. Sometimes
there are
Hey, sorry I missed you. My phone's on silent. Yes, it is running currently. Gotcha. Okay. All right.
They do. Yes, I know. But it's I do mark up. Yeah, I mark up. You're like every month now.
Yes.
I don't. Okay, be good.
Well, whatever. Sorry. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
My sister, I progress.
Oh, well, listen. Thank you, bud. So jealous. Thank you very much. Good shape. Can I test? Did you hear that? Can you pass out the brochure? I've gone every couple of days. Can I have your attention, please? Can I have the pallbearers in the back of the field notes? For those of you, there is a program. Make sure you get a program for us today. And pallbearers, get the back of the coach, please. You hit a couple of Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah, this is it.
Oh,
You are?
State Farm Matter.
Oh, okay.
I like your post. I mean, I would agree with that.
I was trying to get you, but it was.
Like, you know what?
Hi. We all need hugs. Thank you. He fixes up nice. Yeah, he does.
Underneath this carpet. There you go. Kind of lean over. I know it's kind of a weird. Okay. That looks good right there. Straight down. Okay. Awesome. Thank you all very much for your help. All right. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. Good afternoon. Thank you all for very much for being here. We got a beautiful day, don't we? Yeah. So I'm Tommy Routsong. I'm one of the funeral directors on staff at Routsong Funeral Home. And again, I'd like to thank you for being here. A couple of housekeeping things. Can you reach in your pockets of purses? Pull out your cell phones. Make sure they're turned off or on mute as not to interrupt today. Okay. So with no further ado,
Good afternoon. I'm Reverend Dr. Mary Riemann, and on behalf of Diana, Debbie, Dan, Heidi, and all the grandkids, we extend their deepest gratitude for your being here today to share in this celebration and honoring of Jim's life. As we move through the service, I think it's important to know that Jim had a hand in planning every element of this ceremony. He gave his blessing for us to honor him, his life, and his death in this way. So listen for him, as this is his departing message to us. We begin by acknowledging the sacredness of this moment with the blessing of the directions, calling in the ancestors, and smudging Jim's body as a way of honoring the vessel that allowed him to be and allowed us to know him.
I'm Jen, and I'm going to be calling in the 4 directions. And just what that means is we are building a sacred vessel and container for this ceremony to be in. And we call in the directions and the elements, and we set our space here so that Mother Earth can receive. So I start in the north, which, this is the east. I start in the north. I would normally face the directions, but then you wouldn't hear me. So I'm just going to stand here in the north and begin, and I'll work my way around. So we go from the north to the east, to the south, to the west. Spirits and energies of the north, we call you in. We call in the element of Mother Earth, and we say, thank you, Mother Earth, for all the bountiful gifts that we receive in our bodies, being embodied people here on this earth. So we say thank you for the gift of life. And in the north, we also look to the great mystery, that great mystery of living and dying, of the veil that seems to separate those of us here on this side, and then imagining where Jim is on the other side of that veil. And as we embrace the mystery, we also call in our ancestors. We call in Jim's ancestors, Diana's ancestors, and all of our ancestors. And we ask them to be present and to be here with us in order to help Jim and help us, to help us with the grief. It goes both ways. So hail, blessing, so many thanks. Spirits and energies of the north, aho. We're calling in the energies of the east, where the sun rises and the sun sets. And I love that Jim's head will be facing right here with this beautiful view. And when we're calling in the east, the element is air, that precious breath that each one of us have as we are in these living bodies. And we thank the air for its benevolence and the gift and the fragility of what that air is. And we call in new beginnings. And for everyone here who loves Jim, we all do, it is a new beginning for each one of us. What is, for us to step into this new beginning. And he's in his new beginning as well, in his next place. So we thank the energies of the east, of the springtime, of the newness, and say hail, blessing, many thanks. I call in the energies of the south. This is the element of grandfather fire. And when we're with death, it truly is a fire event. It is that fire of transformation and change. And I'm sure you've heard the only real constant in life is change. And it's here in the South where we learn about change and transformation and the big lessons that come that way. And so we know now that Jim's his spirit and his essence, his soul, whatever you would refer to that as, has transcended and left his body and on to the next place. And so again, we're just held in the greatest mystery of grandfather fire as Jim is held as well. So we thank and give thanks to the spirits and energies of the South and grandfather fire. Aho! And now we call in the energies of the West, which the West is represented by water and all the healing waters, that we can put our bodies into the water and feel held and comforted. And so, in the healing journey, that really helps us on this side. But also, in terms of the West, we're holding the eternal self. That's that part of Jim that never dies. That's that part of Jim that lives right here in every single one of our hearts. So we thank the energies of the West and all the healing powers. Aho! And now we're going to look at the energies of above and below. And so I draw up this earth energy, which is a suggestion for anybody if to feel comfort and to feel grounding, and that Mother Earth really can come right deep inside. And we call up to Father Sky of the cosmos, the great mystery, all that happens in the sky. And then we bring those two wonderful entities. They are legendary lovers like Jim and Diana. And we bring them together in our hearts. And we can hold that energy in our hearts in memory of Jim, and any time we need a boost. And we're just going to do a little smudging with sage, just for cleansing. If I can. Now, I've already done a little smudging in advance, but okay. So we're just clearing the energy field, just making it nice and clear and clean and welcoming for when all of you can come up here. We just want the send off here.
response to this is going to be something that I hope many of you know and others will pick up quickly. It's Pete Seeger's rendition for Ecclesiastes. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven.
There's a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build.
To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven.
A time and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to give up.
To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven.
A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear and a time to mend. A time to be silent and a time to speak. A time for love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace.
To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. Dr. Martin Shaw, the mythologist, author, and storyteller, said, "We are stories told in the light between great darknesses." We are stories told in the brief light between great darknesses. We humans, like the rest of creation, are part of the great story, and we ourselves are storied beings. We are born into story. The story of our parents and our ancestors, the story of the faith tradition we are born into or not, the story of being an only child or having siblings, the story of the land, geography, and the culture that we are born into or settle into. From our early years, making connections and cultivating based on the stories we are told, the stories we inherit, and the stories we tell, even if only in our own mind and imagination. We are the creators of stories and we are characters in the stories of those whose lives intersect with our own. And when it is finally our time, and we cross the threshold from this life into the great mystery, what remains is story. We become stories, the stories told by those with whom we shared a connection, whether that connection was a moment, a decade or two, or a lifetime. Stories are powerful, and the stories we create and the characters we play in our own story and that of others shapes the life we live. I'm honored to have had about 35 years of stories with Jim and Diana, and the ways in which they've invited me into their lives, so generously shared their gifts, and welcomed me into their story has been profound, transformational, pure gift, pure gift. Every one of us here holds a treasure in our hearts because each of us has stories about Jim, with Jim, because of Jim, and that brings us together today. Jim's story, like every good story, could be told in a myriad of ways and from a variety of vantage points. It most certainly contains paradox, polarities, logic, and humor, and no doubt touches on the themes of growth, forgiveness, commitment, and kindness. His story is steeped in complexity and seeded with simplicity. And while it is unique, it is also universal. Jim's story began on September 4th, 1941, in Waterloo, Iowa, and pretty soon into his stories unfolding, his path crossed with Diana's. He was 15, she was 14. For both of them, this connection would not only become the central storyline, it would become a lifeline. They got hitched at ages 19 and 20, and 10 months later, Debbie was born, and so it all began. You know, to me, there's something about the imagery of getting hitched. We don't say that much anymore when we talk about people getting married, but when we hitch our wagon, when we hitch ourselves to someone else's wagon, it's always a choice point. Whether it be that we hitch our wagon to another's wagon, or hitch it to a belief system, or a community, or a culture, it's an occasion when we, with as much awareness as we have at the time, connect ourselves to another person or take on the ethos of a community or culture and immerse ourselves in a new way of being. Aware, at least a little bit aware, that we will now be influenced, changed by the one we've hitched ourselves to. And when Jim and Diana hitched wagons, I'm not sure that young Catholic boy from Iowa knew exactly what he was getting into or the ride he was about to take. After all, they met in 1962, and generally speaking, the norms of society and Catholicism within which both Jim and Diana were raised were pretty clear and straightforward. Get married, have kids, husband works, wife tends to children. Don't question the systems, don't question the rules, really don't question anything. But the cultural story was about to change, and so were Jim and Diana, which is a testament to their relationship, their character, and their commitment. As we know, change, growth, transformation, evolution of consciousness, These would become central themes for both Jim and Diana. And from my perspective, this is what makes Jim's story so powerful. I mean, let's face it, there are so many stereotypes about accountants, finance guys, CFOs, and their conventional, logical, by the book way of doing things. And Jim did like his routines. There's no doubt about that. But there was so much more to him. And it wasn't as if you had to break through a hard outer core to find it. It was easily encountered in his quickness to smile or give a hug, his ease of being, and his simple but profound kindness. In a word, it was his openness that really laid bare the qualities of his essence. He was open, though no doubt reluctantly at times, as is true for all of us. He was open to living a changing story. He was open to changing with the times. He was open to changing roles. But where others, if not most, would have dug in deeper to hold on to the certainties of life lived by routine, or the security offered by tradition, and the clarity that comes from belief without question, Jim opened his heart and mind further and allowed himself to be exposed to different beliefs, experiences, questions, and contemplations, which ultimately shaped the way he found and gave expression and meaning to the life he lived and the story he authored. To be open requires courage, and the word Latin meaning big hearted, courageous, or big hearted is to be generous. And Jim was not only generous with his presence and attention. I mean, I don't think I've met a more helpful person in my whole entire life. But his generosity extended into sharing his time, talent, and treasures with other people and organizations. His generosity extended into supporting the educational pursuits of others, providing health care for those with little or no access, and so many other unseen, big hearted acts that he never discussed or desired to be made public, because his generosity extended from his inner world, not an egoic realm, not a desire to be known for what he did. It seems that Jim was guided by a sense that the power of generosity at its most potent is private, not public, tacit, not explicit. Jim's openness not only shone in the beauty of his heart, generosity, and kindness, it came through his relationships and the way he lived into them. Jim was not someone who was given to harsh judgments or long held resentments. He was deeply compassionate and was quick to forgive. He had a great deal of humility and was open to not knowing. Another way of saying he was open to mystery and exploring his curiosity. In fact, a few weeks before Jim entered into the death process, we were having lunch and I asked him, I said, Jim, what do you think about death? And he said, well, we just don't know. Nobody's been able to come back and tell us what, if anything, happens after we die. But I'm curious about the mystery and I want to follow my curiosity. These are words of someone who is open, radically open, unafraid, unhindered, free. Free. This sense of freedom, though maybe fuller near the end of his life, was something I always felt present in Jim. There was a buoyancy to Jim, and you could feel it in his joyful presence and playful ways. I remember Amanda and I were kayaking with Jim and Diana and some friends on the Mad River. This was years ago now. There may have been some cocktails involved, but before I knew it, I looked up and Jim was mooning us right there on the Mad River. Laughter carried us all the way down the river. And Heidi shared how Jim was laughing and playing all the way until the end, until physically he was no longer able to do so. He just enjoyed life and he savored it. Jim's dementia or Alzheimer's diagnosis did not present typically, but Jim wasn't typical. And though his memory was diminished, his essence, his presence was vibrant until the end. And he had a clarity about the diagnosis and how it was affecting him. A few months ago at dinner, he said, I can't retain anything. I can't remember people's names, and I can't make memories. Although he couldn't make memories for himself anymore, he was certainly instrumental in making good memories and creating rich stories for his kids and grandkids to hold on to now and into the future. To be sure, Diana has been Jim's North Star. But it is also clear that Jim's kids and grandkids are and will forever be his constellation. And he, now, your most precious stellar partner. Dancing loves geometry again and again and again. Because everywhere you go, he is with you. He is right here with us. He's in the soil beneath our feet and the stars overhead. His memory and his model, his example will always be in your heart, always available to you. Your love carried him out of this world. Your love carried him out of this world. And now you carry his love within. This sentiment is expressed well in a poem called Carrying Our Loved Ones Within by Mary Ann Byrne. And it says, we carry our loved ones in the quiet corners of our days, in the echo of a laugh, the warmth of a touch, the gentle guidance they once offered. We honor them in the life we live, in acts of kindness, in passions pursued, in values held close. Grief and love intertwine, and in that weaving, their spirit becomes part of us, a steady light, a quiet, steadfast strength. Even in our choices, their wisdom guides us, a subtle compass pointing the way. To carry our loved ones within is to honor them, to let their essence move through us, shape the rhythm of our days, reminding us that love endures even beyond presence. And I will add, to carry our loved ones within is to tell their stories and to let their stories, their example, the qualities and characteristics they embodied become part of our own. Jim showed all of us in these last years, and especially in these last weeks and days, that there is nothing more courageous than trusting the unseen. Nothing more radical than choosing peace when confusion abounds. Nothing more divine than saying, I do not know what's coming, but I trust it anyway. That is surrender. That is power. And that is when the universe conspires with the soul to make the impossible unfold with grace. The way the family gathered to usher Jim on his way, made the impossible unfold with grace. And it has been an honor to witness it with you all. May each of us embrace the model that Jim gave us to trust, surrender, and move into mystery with joy, humility, a spirit of curiosity, playfulness, and love. We thank you, Jim, for sharing your story with us, and may we honor it and honor you in our retellings. This song was written by Paul Winter for Misa Gaia Earth Mass, which is so beautifully appropriate for Jim's choices. And it was Jim and Diana's favorite song called Mystery. It lives in the seed of a tree as it grows. You can hear it if you listen to the wind as it blows. It moves the planets and the stars in the sky. It's been the mover of mountains since the beginning of time. And it's there in the laughter of children at play, and in the blazing sun that gives light to our day. It's there in the river as it flows into the sea. It's the sound in our souls as we're becoming free. Oh, mystery, you are alive. I see you all around. You are the fire in my heart. You are the holy sound. You are all of life. It is to you that I sing. Oh, grant that I may see you always in everything. I can hear it in the waves as they crash upon the beach. It's there in the gods that we have tried to reach. I feel it in the love that I know we need so much. It's there in your smiles, my loves, when our hearts do touch. But when I listen deep inside, I feel you best of all, like a moon that's glowing white. And I listen to your call, and I know that you will guide me. I feel you like a tide rushing through the ocean of my heart that's open wide. Oh, mystery, you are alive. I feel you all around. You are the fire in my heart. You are the holy ground. You are all of life. It is to you that I sing. Oh, grant that I may feel you
always in everything. Oh, grant that I may see you always in everything.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jared, Grandpa's third grandchild. Um, and I just first want to start by sharing my gratitude, my family's gratitude for all of you being here and the support that we've had in every step of the way through Grandpa's life, Grandma and Grandpa's life, all of our lives. And I know Grandpa and we all cherish all of your presence here today. So thank you. In July, we had the privilege of spending a week with Grandma and Grandpa in Colorado, and the grandchildren spent an hour recording memories of Grandpa and telling stories, and we were able to share that with him. And so I was able to pick one story, one memory from each of the grandchildren that I'd like to share here today. One of Bree's most cherished memories was spending time with Grandpa in the bleachers at soccer games. And the reason why is Bree was able to um, notice the way in which he was present with people he had never met before, passing strangers. And oftentimes at the end of games, they would come up to Bree and others in the family and tell them how wonderful of a man he was, how amazing, and how he had touched them just through their, sometimes even parents of the other team, which is just incredible. And so he didn't try to impress anyone, but he certainly did seem to leave his mark um, because of how lovingly present he was. He had a smile, a beautiful hug that he offered to everyone. Um, and people seemed to relax around him quite easily. Wherever he went, he made the space feel really safe. And I think that that is one of the greatest gifts that anyone can give to others in this life. Cameron's memory was a few years ago. The whole family went to Montreal for a soccer game that he was playing in, a legend soccer game. And after the game, everyone went out to eat, and he had forgot. It was very sunny. He had forgotten a hat, but someone had brought a sports bra, thankfully. And Grandpa put it on, strapped up all afternoon, the rest of the evening. And he was able to, everyone is laughing around him, and he had his beautiful grin on, accepting it with confidence. And that was Grandpa. He was comfortable in his own skin. He was rarely embarrassed. He naturally brought out laughter for all of us, with whomever was around him. A memory of mine was on ski trips with him. My brother Elliot, my mom Heidi, myself and Grandpa would go to Utah almost every year for a good period of time there. And on every way, nearly every time we went on a chairlift, we sang a little tune together. And it went like this. One thing to say, 3 words for you. I love you. I love you. And he loved the for you. He claimed it every time. That was his line. Of course, we let him have it. It's such a small, simple song. And he made love something you could just sing. It wasn't embarrassing. It was nothing to be, it was nothing beyond a simple gesture, it felt like. Love was so easy with him. And every ride up that mountain was a reminder of how steady and open his love was for us and our love for him. And Elliot's memory, It was one morning in the hotel room. Elliot was fast asleep. And Grandpa had already been up for a little while, and he was developing a little bit of a hunger in the morning. And he decided to wait for someone else to wake up before he went down and got some continental breakfast. And eventually, after a few minutes, he couldn't stand it any longer. And so he leaned over and began lightly blowing on Elliot's face. Just, Elliot. And once Elliot opened his eyes, because how can you not with someone just blowing on your face? He hit him with the, Elliot, you look hungry. Let's go get some breakfast. And of course, Elliot wasn't hungry; he was sleeping. But that was Grandpa. He didn't just want breakfast; he wanted to enjoy it with some company. And on that day, Elliot was his lucky victim. Each of these stories share his kindness to strangers, his love for those close to him, his playfulness, and his sense of humor. Grandpa made memories everywhere he went. Through those memories, my understanding of his essence began to form, and through that essence, the truth of him was made solid. This is my attempt at capturing a few of the many truths about him. He showed up fully. He loved through consistent acts of care. He reminded us to keep on playing. He laughed easily. He was gentle and very steady. He saw the good in people, and he reflected that back. He never missed the opportunity to sing along to a song he knew. And he embodied joy, and I think we all felt that. We are all so lucky to have known a man like Grandpa. Having him as a role model has been and will continue to be one of the greatest gifts of our lives. Thank you.
There we go. Good afternoon. I'm Cameron, Jim's grandson and friend. It's good to see all of you here. And as Grandpa would have said, it's good to be seen. Grandpa had a lot of these quips. He would say cheeseburglar instead of cheeseburger to get people to smile for a photo. And he would always get the last line of the birthday song with them, and many more. So many of these things were meant to just make us laugh. But I think there was something more to that it's good to be seen. For it was in seeing others that Jim showed us his true essence, with that bright, beaming smile. If you pick up the program, that image on the front was 7 days into his dying process. No food, no water, walking gently towards the unknown. For many, towards their deepest fear. And yet all you could find in Grandpa was joy. In fact, this entire notebook is filled with his joys and jokes during the dying process, which he made clear, and I'm quoting here, "After I die, you can use my jokes, but not before." Even during the process, as he struggled to do little things, like pooping, he would announce proudly and loudly, "Blast off," when the magic finally happened. Or tell us he was looking forward to his morning, quote unquote, lube job with grandma, where we would cover his dry and cracking skin with lotion. Even Alzheimer's could not take away that joy from him. In living and in dying, he would light up any room. And that is the miracle of Jim. When he was diagnosed, he told Grandma he would die with dignity and grace. And he did. He walked gently and peacefully towards that dark night. And in doing so, he became a symbol for us all. There is more to this mystery of life than meets the eye. And it was not just his death that showed us this, but his life too. If Jim were here, he would have told you, "I lived a wonderful life." He would have told you he lived a life with no regrets. He would have told you he never had to look for a job, but found abundance. He would have told you he thought he would be a Catholic priest, but found a woman that helped him see the holy in everything. He would have told you that he never had a plan, but that things turned out better than he could have ever imagined. And that was the beauty. Yes, beauty of Jim's disease. For most, Alzheimer's takes everything and leaves nothing but frustration and fear. But for Jim, it distilled him down to his essence. What was a fine wine became a dense nectar, a nectar we each tasted, more than anything, in his quintessential, toothy smile and wink. A smile that you could find on his face through his final days. And so, if you ever need to find Jim, you can listen for the birds he loved to feed, or look to the beautiful snow-capped mountains he loved to ski. But most of all, look into the eyes and hearts and smiles of the people around you, whoever they may be. See others for who they are, not what they do or have done, not what they say or have said, but just as beautiful reminders of this wonderful experience we get to share called life. See and be seen. See and be seen. Back and forth, back and forth. In that you will find Jim's essence today, tomorrow, and in all days to come. I love you and I miss you. Thank you.
When I was a boy, each week on Sunday we would go to church, pay attention to the priest, and he would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything, everything, everything. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two, and Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad, miracles don't happen still, and now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything, 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 everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but even better magic's trick is anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, barely wet my fingertips, now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second rate hand me down. Now I walk it with the 'cause everything is holy now. Everything, 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 everything is holy now. Read a questioning child's face and say it's not a testament. That'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come and say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood and I saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush and singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. 'Cause everything is holy now. Everything, 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 everything is holy now.
Instead of reciting the Lord's Prayer together today, at Jim and Diana's request, I will share with you the original Lord's Prayer translated directly from the Aramaic into English, rather than the Aramaic to Hebrew to Greek to English. People asked Jesus, "How do we pray?" He answered them in Aramaic, saying, Abum Tebushmaya, O thou, the breathing life of all, creator of the shimmering sound that touches us, uniting all that is as one. Nefgadash Sumach. Hear the sound that created all others. In this way, the name is hallowed in silence. And the prayer continues. From this divine union, let us birth new images for a new world of peace. Your one desire then acts with ours, as in all light, so in all forms. Animate the earth within us. We then feel the wisdom underneath, supporting all. Untangle the knots within so that we can mend our heart's simple ties to others. Don't let surface things delude us, but free us from what holds us back from our true purpose, returning light and sound to the cosmos. Truly, power to these statements. May they be the ground from which all our actions grow, sealed in trust and faith. Amen. I invite you to join your intention with mine as we bless this earth, which will receive Jim's body. May this earth, which makes all things green and vibrant and gently coaxes every seed to trust death as a threshold to new life, receive Jim's body and gently transform it back into the soil of life. Though Jim dwells no more in physical form, we commit the memory of his life and the qualities he embodied: kindness, generosity, courage, curiosity, joy, and playfulness to the safekeeping of our hearts, with a commitment to continue to carry them lovingly into our own relationships and the world around us. Into the richness of our memories and the telling of our stories, we will carry your spirit. Into the cycle of birth, life, death, and rebirth, we entrust your love. Into the darkness and warmth of earth, we lay you down.
We are here to do blessings. Blessings. Jim's blessing. There's so many blessings right here in this beautiful collective right now. And so that to put our hands over our hearts and that we remember this moment with Jim and feel the abundance of his blessing that all are speaking to. His smile that just ignites, it just ignites in the heart. So we feel your blessings, Jim Spiegel. When we just had a little cool breeze a minute ago, I felt you in that little bit of relief and reprise. So when we think of blessings, we receive his blessings, but we give him blessings. We give his body our blessing, that his body served him so well in this lifetime. And that as we are going on with our lives, because we know that's what happens, right? That we will feel his blessing. So many of us gave him seeds. Let us know how you're doing on the other side. You know, we all believe different things. I'm an optimist, a bit like Jim, right? A bit of an optimist. And when you see the red bird, when you'll feel it and you'll know it, that is Jim's blessing. I asked for a dragonfly, if he would kindly send me a dragonfly, and voila, there was a dragonfly right before y'all arrived. And I just said, thank you, Jim. What a blessing. So we will feel Jim Spiegel's blessing into the rest of our days. And I personally have no doubt I met him in the capacity of him being a greeter, and Cameron spoke so beautifully of that. He is there to greet us when it's our turn. And that is a huge blessing. So thank you, Jim Spiegel. Thank you. Gratitude for all the blessings.
Let me explain kind of how this is going to transpire. We're going to lower Jim's body into the ground. Please remain seated. And if you can, we're going to take one of the shovels, and you may place a shovel of dirt over one. That's the way we used to do it in the old days. And that's the way our family does it today. So this is a great honor for you to be able to do that today. So give me a couple of minutes. Make sure we're getting Jim lowered down in the grave, and then we'll be back. Cool. I think it's great.
I think just really quickly, you can shovel the dirt, but also feel free to grab a flower instead and just lay it on the body, whatever you feel right.
Oh, okay. Thank you. He's good throw you also, right? Thanks, guys. Yep. So one of the things I would like ask you, watch yourself when you come forward and take the shovel. If you'd like to take a flower also and place it into the grave, it'd be very nice of you to do so. So I'd like to start with the family members first. Grandsons, mom first. Okay. So, you want to put the flowers in first? Okay. All right, folks, if you'd like to come in, just place the flowers in first, and then we'll put the dirt on top. All right? Okay. You don't always these flowers. You want to put them all in, don't you? Yeah. And we will put these in also. Sure. Yeah. Done here. There it is. You got it? Good idea. You betcha. Let her go first. Okay, sure. I get it. Oh, good job. Nice.
Of course you do. But I can't.
I mean, he's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Rest of you would like to just go ahead? All right.
Come do a scoop.
Again, if anybody else would like to come forward, you're welcome to do so. If anyone else would like to come forward at this time, you're welcome to do so. Thank you. You're welcome to come around the other side of the pile also.
Today. Ireland is incredible.
Yeah.
I called you up this morning. Can I ride with you?
Yeah, really.
People for 2 weeks. Yeah. Thanks for everything.
It is ended. Peace to all power. May the undying light shine forth forever. Carrying Jim in our hearts, let us rekindle an appreciation for the gifts of life and love that come from the blessings of our relationships with each other and the great mystery that makes us one. Let us now go from this place in comfort and peace, assured that even in this time of loss and sorrow, life remains precious and good.
And this now concludes our services. Thank you all very much for coming out here today and celebrating Jim's life. Thank you very much.